And the UN warns that the coronavirus outbreak could trigger another global disaster, a hunger pandemic of biblical proportions. The situation is already dire. Some 135 million people are facing crisis levels of hunger. And the UN says that the number could double because of COVID-19. Well, crossing live now to Hilal, Elver, the UN Special Rapporteur on the right to food. Welcome to the programme. It's good to see you. Now, the UN is saying that the number of people living on the brink of famine could double in some countries by the end of the year. What kind of impact would that have?
Yes, this report is a yearly report, what we call Global Food Crisis report, and this is 2019. The COVID came very last, and the impact of COVID is not yet in this report. So they predicted, as of now, as of end of 2019, 135 million people are severely food insecure in basically 30 countries. But the COVID will make this at least double. We don't know. Maybe it will not, or maybe even more. So we are in the uncharted territory yet.
With the world in the grip of a pandemic right now, how well prepared is it to combat a food emergency?
Well, the world was not prepared, first of all, such a global pandemic to combat health emergency, that's serious, let alone food emergency. Of course, some countries that are major staple food exporters like US, Russia, and China have significant stocks. But not net food importers. Countries have such a comfortable position. That's going to be the serious for some countries, not all.
How has the pandemic made food insecurity worse?
Well, actually, pandemic came in a time that there was no supply problem. There was no food supply problem. I mean, there was no significant food unavailability. We have enough availability issue, but pandemic broke the global supply chain because of lockdown and mobility restrictions. Today, we are mostly relying on global supply chain, and almost all countries are depending on import some food. One is more, the other one is less. Or even inside of the country, food systems are dependent on transportation from farm to table. When this chain broke, that prices go up, products cannot reach to market, etc., and major food insecurity starts gradually being serious.
The world's worst food crises right now in Yemen, Afghanistan, South Sudan and Syria. Now with the pandemic to add to the equation, is there any hope of solving it?
Unfortunately, I'm not very optimistic about it because wars and conflicts are number one reasons for food insecurity and hunger in the world. Top of the conflict, pandemic means we should expect a catastrophic, deadly result. UN Secretary General called global ceasefire. It's an important call, and significant amount of countries answered positively, but some that are involved in such conflicts did not.
At least 20% of the African population is undernourished. How dependent are they on imports, and have these been kept up during the global lockdown?
Most of them are seriously dependent on stable food import. Also, they have been suffering from extreme weather events, such as a prolonged drought and flood, and now recently desert locusts in some parts of Africa. There are some suggestions that regional trade systems should take place. Many of the countries are relying on food aid, and obviously because of COVID-19, emergency food aid demand will be skyrocketed. So it's very difficult to find available funding to respond to all severe food insecurity right now in Africa.
Hilal Elver, the UN Special Rapporteur on the right to food. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.